Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. What's up? What's good? What it do? It is yours truly, Chauncey Craig Woodson, back on this scene one more time. I know it's been a good while. Welcome to the latest edition of Chauncey Vision. This is where I talk all the movie-ish. I'm talking about movie and TV-ish. I'm talking about action, comedy, sci-fi, horror, you name it. I'm gonna proclaim it. So we're gonna get into it real quick. Just to let y'all know what I've been up to, what's been going on. Apologize first off for being away for so long. I have kept up with my fair share of movie and TV-ish. However, other priorities outside of this take place, i.e. day job, as well as special family events. Had a couple of extended family weddings, baby shower to attend to, a couple of photography projects. For those y'all who don't know, I am a photography enthusiast, so I dabble in a little bit of digital analog photography on the side just to keep the creative flowing as I have it with me, So that's what I've been busy with as much as of late. So I truly do apologize for any and all who have wanted all types of TV and movie-ish from me, from what they want to know, but I'm back here to bring some of that to you. And lately, these past few days, we have had a gang of gems drop. So, first off, to get this out the way, no, I have not seen Black Adam as of yet. However, that is going to be one of my priorities this coming weekend. So, myself, along with the occasional co-host and fellow bro Corey Green, we're going to go ahead and tap that. And we are going to just check out Black Adam, give our review of it later on. Probably do a live stream on that. Get a couple of other folks in who checked out Black Adam. Maybe have a nice little discussion panel about it. See what did, what didn't work with the movie. I've been hearing mixed buzz so far, and which leads me to this next bit of news. It's no bigger than me because I kind of had a feeling it was going to happen. Our dear old friend, Mr. Henry Cavill, is officially back as Superman. So, slight spoiler for those who have not seen Black Adam yet or who don't care about spoilers. Mr. Cavill returns as the Man of Steel in a segment of Black Adam, an end credit rather. And it's basically a nice little, verbal square off between he and Black Adam. And that's how it's supposed to come about, because this leads to also not only a rescinding of Black Adam, I'm sorry, not Black Adam, but Superman, but it also entails what we're going to have in this new iteration of the DC Cinematic Universe. Well, now it's no longer called the DC the DCEU. It's no longer called that now. It's now known as the DCU because it's going to cover, of course, film, television, and animation. And as of yesterday, we've got DC's answer to Marvel's Kevin Feige. And I believe it's Peter Safran, who was also one of the producers of the DC hit Shazam. Shazam was pretty good, so I give credit where credit's due. And a fan favorite both on the Marvel and DC side, James Gunn. So they, as of yesterday, they have been officially announced as the co-CEOs of DC Studios. So, I mean, hopefully with this type of news, we get quality DC entertainment like we're supposed to. I mean, we've had a mixed bag. Some people love some stuff. Some people hate some stuff. I've got my mixed issues with certain little projects or whatever. And for those who have talked to me and been around me, I've expressed what I have and haven't liked. So let's see what James Gunn and Mr. Safran can bring to us. Now, I know some people were bummed out about the whole HBO Max little sweep that happened, unfortunately, because, because of this sweep, we have not gotten Batgirl. It's been put on the shelf indefinitely, canceled, whatever you want to call it. We are not going to have another season of Young Justice. We may not probably have another season of Titans and Doom Patrol. It's right now, so far, the only thing that I know of is safe at the moment is Superman Lois. And I believe it's the Blue Beetle movie that's still supposed to be happening. I want to say Stargirl. Those are the only things that are going down that's going to be happening. But because this WB Discovery merger and broke a lot of hopes on a lot of hearts. And, unfortunately, I was one of them. I ain't even gonna lie because, I want to see what could be done, if certain things were brought out, see what happened. I know everybody's still on the fence about a very controversial figure in the form of Ezra Miller because he's caused a whole lot of unnecessary damage and drama with innocent bystanders or whatever mental tirade or breakdown he's got going on. And I think it's highly unfair that, others have to suffer from it because, what's the point of having a movie where you can bring back both Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck, have them, play Batman off to each other, and then you've got your main star who's supposed to be the fastest man alive, or the cinematic version of the fastest man alive, because there's more than one Flash out there, and he's, acting a damn fool, and he's not seeking any real help for it. Well, supposedly he's apologized, but I don't know how far that apology can go with the people he's caused some real trauma to, because some people think it's a joke, some people think it's funny, and then there's other people who ain't laughing at all. I'm one of them, because for these fans, who so-called fans I should say, who think that stuff like this is funny, you don't realize how much real trauma that someone else who experiences this type of disturbing behavior goes through, especially when it's someone that's supposed to be, liked and or beloved, and he just is going off the rails and just causing all types of chaos. And it shows that, what type of thing that WB and Discovery has got going on, where they're going to cancel out Batgirl, they're going to cancel out all these other little DC shows that some of us have come growing love, but then you want to save the one project where the most trauma has been caused because you're a main star. But then what I've heard from a couple of close sources too is that, as crazy as this may sound, no pun intended, but word on the street is that this Flash movie is really good. And as much as this really pains me to say, Ezra Miller is actually good in this, from what I've been told. So whether or not they decide to release this at theaters, or whether or not they decide to release this on HBO Max, it's just, for those who are still interested in trying to see this movie, it's wait and see game. Me personally, I'm really on the fence about even bothering trying to check it out, because knowing what this guy's done and, went through, and again has caused major unsettling trauma to folks, and make, other co-stars like Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton especially look kind of bad. I'm really on the fence on whether or not I really want to check this out. To be honest, I'd be perfectly fine for a recasting. Speaking of some recasting stuff on the Marvel side, surprisingly, there's been a recasting of Mr. General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross. Mr. Tough as Nails, want to kill the Hulk by any means necessary, Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross. He was portrayed first by Sam Elliott in the first Hulk movie. Then, from Incredible Hulk on, he was portrayed by the late great William Hurt, who we sadly lost earlier this year, I want to say. This year we lost him, unfortunately. Surprisingly enough, though, he has been recasted. And he's been recasted by none other than the one and only living legendary, Chicago's own Mr. Harrison Ford. Yes, Han Solo, aka Indiana Jones, is up in here as gonna be your new Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross. Now I know some people are feeling shocked and amazed by this because he announced earlier at D23 this year that this last Indiana Jones that he just wrapped up is going to be his final, farewell song to a beloved character for many decades. And, hey, Indiana Jones, Lone Han Solo, that's my childhood, man. So I'm really hoping this one pans out very well. I'm hoping we get some great excitement, great surprises that we've known and grown to love with Indiana Jones movies. I'm going to admit, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I feel some kind of way about it. I just feel kind of off by it. But, I still love Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones and Han Solo. So I want to see what he can do with Thunderbolt Ross on this. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. Now, the reason why I say some people feel some kind of way about it is because there's, of course, this constant back and forth about recasting T'Challa. Because, sadly, we no longer have Chadwick Boseman. And Marvel has, in so many ways, the word decided to basically, I'm going to say it like this. They decided to basically put T'Challa on the back burner cinematically. I believe in my whole heart of hearts he will be recasted later on down the line. There's been this online uproar about recasting T'Challa, and it's like, let's let this movie come out before we get to throwing stones and pitchforks about how Marvel and disrespected Chadwick Boseman's legacy, and how we kicking and screaming that Marvel betrayed us in so many ways of the word. It's like, no, let's see what's going to happen with this movie first before we make all these rash judgments, because we don't know how it's going to go down. And of course, I mention this is because there's been latest hoopla that you're so quick to recast Thunderbolt Ross, but why not T'Challa? Kevin Feige is smart for a reason, folks. Whether or not you believe it, whether or not you like it, as I said, I believe in my whole heart of hearts T'Challa will be recasted later on down the line. Who's to say we're not going to get him in these upcoming Avengers movies in 2025? Because we're getting two of them in the same year. It's not like, with Infinity War and Endgame, you get them back-to-back years. We're getting two Avengers movies in the same year. So who's to say T'Challa may reappear in one of these Avengers movies, if not afterwards, because we got a couple more phases to go through in this. And I'm here for the ride so far. So let's chill out for a bit. Let them see what they do. And of course, another thing is how you're going to recast Harrison Ford as Thunderbolt Ross when he's already up in age. And, this is true. So let's not wish any bad omens on our beloved Indy / Han Solo. We ain't having that here. Let this man do what he do. Let's see what he can do as Thunderbolt Ross. And I'm thoroughly anticipating to what he can bring to the table, because as long as I've seen Harrison Ford's work over the years, I've not known him to turn in a bad performance. I really haven't. So don't knock him before you try him. You know what I mean? So with all that being said, there's a couple more things that popped up this year. This week. Oh yeah, had a couple trailers pop up. One of those trailers were the trailer for Ant-Man 3, Quantumania. And this has a nice little cast. Paul Rudd's back. Michelle Pfeiffer is back. Michael Douglas. What's the girl? Evangeline Lilly. Wasp. Yeah. I forgot the young actor's name who played his daughter in Endgame. She's back. And we also got a couple new characters according to this trailer. Jonathan Majors, if you paid attention to the Disney Plus shows, he portrayed a variation of Kang in Loki. he appeared as such in that because I said a while back, and I talked with not only Corey Green but my good bro, Mr. Jay Washington, that I got inkling feeling that Kang is gonna have something to do with this multiverse variant type thing going on. And lo and behold, that's what happened. So there you have that. Hold that thought for 1 second. All right, I'm back. Apologies about that, by the way. If I'm be talking the movie and TV ish with y'all, I gotta make sure I have my high quality H2O, as Bobby Boucher would say. And be rambling about stuff, and then I ain't got no high quality HBO to help me carry on, but I got it going on now, so it's all good. Anyhow, yes, like I was saying, Jonathan Majors, who we've come to know and love from Lovecraft Country, um, Last Black Man of San Francisco, um, just many other projects that he's been involved in. He is Arcane Conqueror, and I tell you, this dude done worked out and got jacked. He worked out and got jacked for this role, and not only just this role, but another trailer that dropped that he's been in. I'm gonna talk about shortly. But basically, with Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania, this is, even though it's going to take place in another realm of the multiverse, the quantum realm, I should say, it's got such a great scale for it being in a micro-sized world, and it's got various almost Star Wars slash Star Trek type energy flowing through it, with like the little spaceships and the other inhabitants of this microverse, this quantum realm that Hank Pym and Scott Lang and them come across, and it's very interesting. And from what I've seen, also on the trailer too, you're getting a little bit more of a serious Ant-Man. I mean, Paul Rudd's still gonna be Paul Rudd. He's still gonna bring some comical stuff to the role that he's been known and loved to have. But there's elements or certain spots in this trailer where you see he's like a little more on edge. He's a little bit more serious because he realized that this Kang dude is nothing to play with. And if you read Marvel books and seen little Marvel shows that Kang the Conqueror has been involved in, good and well he ain't no joke. He is a major threat to bestow yourself upon. So it's really interesting to see how Scott Lang is going to take up a notch, how this whole movie is going to play out. It looks like it's going to be fun and exciting. Of course, everybody has their mixed bag about the Ant-Man movies. It's like, it's cool, it's family fun, the last couple ones. So this one might be a little bit more intense and action packed. So hey, third time's a charm, right? So we'll see how this Ant-Man and the quantum realm goes. Speaking of Mr. Jonathan Majors, one more time, the other trailer that we got bestowed upon recently is that of Creed 3. Yes, Michael B. Jordan is back. Tessa Thompson, Jonathan Majors. So, you got your great little MCU connect right there, where you got Killmonger, Valkyrie, and Kang the Conqueror all in one same movie. So yes, Creed 3 is the third chapter of the Creed cinematic saga. This is going to be the first time that Michael B. Jordan directs. And from what we see, Adonis Creed, he's reflecting on all the success he's gotten, just being a great fighter, great boxing champion, husband and father. So he's got everything going on. And then next thing you know, here comes Jonathan Majors, a ghost from the past. He's the old friend of sorts that basically covered for Adonis Creed when they were younger and took a rap for something that, he was involved in that he shouldn't have gotten involved in back in the day. So basically, Jonathan Majors is that character who comes back from the past, tries to reconnect. Of course, going to the trailer, he's kind of hesitant. He's kind of like, okay, what we doing? What we got going on here, man? So then he kind of finally lets down his guard, like, all right, I help you out. And then, as I said, Jonathan Majors is like uber jacked. You thought he was jacked in Lovecraft Country. You thought he was jacked for what we seen in the Ant-Man Wasp trailer. Yeah, this dude then got uber jacked. It's like kind of like he got so jacked it's scary because you're not sure if you want to feel a punch from this man. And the way he punches in this trailer, yeah, you're getting like almost Clubber Lang flashbacks. And here's the crazy part, because it was mainly rumored some time back that he was supposed to be Clubber Lang's son, but that's not the case. Because as I said, he's an old friend, air quotes, from Donnie's past. So that's what we're going to play with in this. And there's glimpses of, Jonathan Major's character, just he's being, this humble dude, just fresh guy out of the pen or whatever like that, trying to reassert himself in life and with the guidance of Donnie Creed. Also, next thing you know, he's, kind of getting this like uprising to a point where he's like, dominant and unstoppable in the ring. And it is just crazy. It's almost like a little bit kind of like Rocky 5, because if y'all remember Rocky 5, which some people kind of crap on, I watch it for guilty pleasure purposes, but if you remember Rocky 5, where Rocky took in Tommy Gunn, and then, when he was training Tommy, how Tommy just got so good, he just got so egomaniacal, he got with the Don King like promoter or whatever, and he's just like, his baddest thing on the planet, and he's like, hey, I'm so good, I can beat you type thing. They're gonna play with a little bit with that from what I seen in the trailer. I think there's also an instance of the trailer where Creed gets locked up a little bit, and I don't know if it's something that's gonna be temporary. I don't know if it's something that's gonna kind of end things at this point. I don't know what's gonna happen as far as this goes, but this looks great. I'm looking forward to it. I enjoyed the last couple of Creed movies. So yeah, this is another looker for the Creed Cinematic Saga, like I said. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Another trailer that popped up that was kind of interesting, going back on the Marvel side. There's the long-awaited Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. This is a special that is, I believe, it's Disney Plus exclusive. It's not coming to the theaters. So at most, it's going to be like an hour and some change long. But if you checked out the earlier special presentation, Disney Plus brought out Werewolf by Night, which is one of my suggestions for spooky season, by the way. And we'll talk about that one a little bit later. This definitely brings you back to the heyday of, how back in the days you had CBS, NBC, and stuff like that bring out your holiday specials and bring out beloved fictional characters, trying to bring up the spirit of Christmas, whatever like that, just having their wild, wacky ways of enjoying Christmas. This seems like it's a callback to that. Basically, Drax and Mantis go on a self-made mission to bring Christmas to Star-Lord, because Star-Lord, he's bummed out about still not finding Gamora. Of course, if you remember from Endgame, we got a whole different Gamora, and Star-Lord is dead set on trying to find her and things like that. So he's still kind of bummed out about not coming across her as of yet. And, Drax and Mantis is like, hey, we know what I bring Spirit up. Because if you remember also in Endgame, Star-Lord mentioned Kevin Bacon being the greatest actor of all time in his mind. Kevin Bacon is cool, by the way. I don't know about being the greatest, but he is cool in my book also. They basically go with Earth to so many ways of word. Nah, I ain't gonna say kidnap, but try to acquire Mr. Bacon and his, just require Mr. Bacon to basically help them out to cheer up Mr. Quill there. And of course, it goes haywire and hilarious because this is Drax and Mantis we are talking about, and you already know how they are from the movies. So it's gonna be quite a little treat. And they got other characters as Guardians wise in there. You also got Groot in here, Cosmo, the space dog. You got a Rocket involved, and it just looks all types of wild. And Kevin Bacon running for his life while Drax and Mantis are like playfully trying to chase him down and stuff like that. It is wild. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do with that. And it's gonna be a nice little Christmas tree, I think. So again, I know people have had their ups and downs with this phase 4 of Marvel, but give them a little bit of go because we still got a little bit more go because Wakanda Forever, I believe, is supposed to be the last movie of phase 4, and then you got these couple of special presentations per Disney Plus they have going on. So Marvel didn't have, I guess, a little slight turbulence as far as fans' perspective goes. Me personally, I've had very little issue with them. I see what they're trying to do because at the end of the day, when it comes to phase 4, they want to do something different. They want to bring you something as unique as they possibly can story wise without trying to give you the same old wham bam thank you ma'am action set pieces that you have gotten in these past 20 some odd movies that we've gotten over the years. And you just gotta broaden your horizons a little bit in terms of storytelling, because just like some of these books that people claim to be fans of, you should know by now that every book is not going to be wham bam thank you ma'am action. There's going to be some type of story to be told, whether it's from different perspectives. Tony Stark ain't always got to be at the forefront. Steve Rogers ain't always got to be at the forefront. Bruce Banner, Thor, Logan, Deadpool, Spider-Man, whoever you know and love, they ain't always got to be at the forefront because you have a plethora of characters that everybody else enjoys, i.e., Kamala Khan, She-Hulk, Black Widow. And, it's kind of a little bit disheartening to hear, so-called fans, I'm going to say, whine and cry and get to a point of doing all this hate watching and YouTube hate videos about why certain shows suck and how everything has an agenda. Well, whether or not you like it, our world is evolving. So if our world's evolving, so does this beloved fictional universe that the late great Stan Lee has bestowed upon us is evolving. And he has said before he left us, hey, this is for everybody. That means black, white, Latino, Asian, straight, LGBTQ, it don't matter. Everybody has a place in this universe just as much as everyone has one. Sorry about that. As I was saying, everybody has a place in this universe as much as everybody has a place in this real world. I mean, whether or not you fully accept someone, it's neither here or there, or whether you are hesitant about accepting someone based off how, they live their life or who they are, on the outside. Everyone has room to breathe around here. As long as they don't bother them, as long as they don't bother you, shouldn't have to bother them. But then that's just one of those things. It's too much like right. And of course, sadly, you got to have low IQ, really ignorant and hateful and disingenuous individuals out here that just crap on people, just because of their differences, whether it's sexual orientation, race, creed, religion, etc. And then you want to hide behind, fake ideologies like, you've been around on a ride for all this time when you haven't. You just jumping on bandwagons just because you feel triggered or you feel like everything, that you're entitled to is supposed to be meant for you, and sadly it's not. So unless you put pen and paper yourself and start making up fantasies or fantasy worlds where people like you should exist, go ahead if you have that talent. If you don't, then pipe down, kick back, go jump on something else, and let people enjoy this for what this is. I'm just going to say that much, because only thing I ain't trying to do or deal with is not about being fearful, because I ain't fearful about anybody, about online banter. I just want to say that you just have no say so like that. So I don't know what time issues you have. You just need to kick back and let people enjoy what they want to enjoy at the end of the day. Let me just say that much. So, on to other things that I want to talk about here. We got a couple things going on as far as spooky season goes. We are in spooky season mode, and it's been light as far as horror movie stuff goes. I mean, there are some things that you can still check out that came out throughout this year, but there's some things that it just doesn't feel right. You know what I mean? Because back in the day, especially growing up, when it came around Halloween season, you had like horror movie after horror movie left and right coming out. But it's like now it seems like a lightweight load. I mean, of course, partially part of it is because of, pandemic. Pandemic put a lot of things back on the back burner. And then there's just some stuff that just was just like, okay, what do we do now? But I got a few suggestions for you all to check out that you will probably enjoy on the spooky season side. So when I mentioned earlier about Disney Plus Marvel special presentation, one of those is that of Werewolf by Night. Now, this right here takes me back to the glory days of when I was on the west side of Chicago, very young. I would, after, having good old hearty Saturday morning breakfast, watch my good old Saturday morning cartoons and such, I would join up with my pops, and we would watch some of the old school classic monster movies that used to come on, the black and white ones. I mean, everything. It was like one week it was Dracula, next week it was Frankenstein, Creature from Black Lagoon. It was Werewolf versus Frankenstein. It was just all the classic silver screen Universal monster joints. And this Werewolf by Night took me back to that time. That's how great this was, well crafted. I mean, the black and white was just phenomenal. And what was great about it is the fact that even though it was, it had that old school nostalgia vibe to it with the black and white, it still didn't like hold back. It was really graphic. It was really, there were moments that were pretty gory and violent. And it's like, whoa. And this is all happening on Disney Plus, right? Here's the trick about that. As long as you don't show a whole gang of blood and this is part of the reason why they done it in black and white, so they can get away with doing certain things that happen because you have you have some amputations happen. I'll just say that much. You have some intestines ripped out here and there, and like I said, it's pretty graphic and gory. But that was the genius of doing it in black and white, because showing it in color, yeah, you might raise some eyebrows and you might get a couple of angry emails from parents telling my why is this being shown on Disney Plus and so on and so forth. But by them doing it in black and white, that was pure genius. So that was the joy about that. But speaking of that, it also brought a great storytelling of the Werewolf by Night character, and you also get another popular cult Marvel character, Man Thing. So Man Thing is in this. He was awesome in this, and it's just things that happen, like the camaraderie between him and Werewolf by Night was pretty cool, and it's a real joy, especially if you watch or you enjoy the classic monster movies, I should say. I definitely highly recommend Werewolf by Night. It's pretty amazing to watch, and especially if you got 4K TV like I do, you can definitely enjoy something like that by all means. Let's see, another spooky season suggestion I got. On the Netflix side, something I just happened to bestow upon maybe a few nights ago. This is a German-made movie called Old People. Imagine if you have old people who basically if they had the rage virus from 28 days later, in a sense, and the way they react, that's what Old People is. You're basically in a horror thriller where you're getting attacked by senior citizens, basically senior citizens who are like amped up and just going to town on younger folks and stuff like that. It's wild. It's crazy. It takes place, like say in Germany, it takes place, I guess, during a family wedding. And then, members of the senior citizen home or whatever, they end up going crazy. And it was quite a ride to check out and watch. There's a couple of disgusting moments because I'm not trying to be mean or disrespectful to senior citizen folks, but yeah, I kind of got some nasty habits, man. So and plus with it being filmed in Germany, Germany don't care. They'll show damn near everything and anything. So expect some of that. But that's another thing to check out. Old People, it's called, one more time. It's on Netflix currently. Jumping up back on streaming stuff, another suggestion. This one I'm kind of 50-50 on, and it's the reimagining, as some people will say. It's the reimagining of Hellraiser, Clive Barker's Hellraiser, classic 1987 horror classic. And there's been revitalized for this newer generation. And a few interesting parts about this. This Hellraiser features Pinhead as a woman, even though the person playing Pinhead is actually a trans woman. Pinhead was originally a woman in the books. So if you pay attention more to the books as opposed to what you remember from the original 1987 movie, Pinhead was technically a woman as opposed to the man we got in the older movies. But anyway, as far as what I've seen and what I've checked out with this movie is actually, I'm not going to say it's beat for beat because, again, it's a reimagining, but it has very similar energy of that of the classic film with the blood, the gore, the body horror, the effects, and, it was well crafted and well done. The only letdown for me, I was not too thrilled or crazy about the main female protagonist because she's a character who's a former drug addict who's consistently trying to recover. She's trying to get her stuff together. She's got a gay brother who loves her deeply, wants to do everything he can for her, but she's not making things easy because he's afraid of her having relapses and things like that. And then of course with the whole thing that comes about with the infamous cube that has a totally different meaning as opposed to what it originally had. That says a lot because the cube, you change it to different shapes and stuff like that. This one, written to the cube, you literally change it to different shapes. It's like it doesn't go from, it can go from cube form. It's like almost like a long, sharp edge form. It just is very inventive on what they do with the cube this go around. So I like that part also as well. But again, the main female protagonist, her acting was just blah to me. It was like she didn't really say or do much to make me care about her. She was just kind of there in so many ways of the word. And it's just like, yeah. But all in all, the movie was interesting to check out. So if you're a fan of the original Hellraiser, and if you like the body horror stuff or what have you, by all means, check it out. And it's worth a watch. It's currently on Hulu right now. So that's another one. And if you haven't seen this one, speaking of Hulu, if you haven't seen this one already, I do highly recommend Prey, the prequel to the classic sci-fi horror Predator. And of course, myself, Corey Green, and Dan Weeks, we also talked about Prey some time back. We talked about how well it worked as a movie because this is not just your, run-of-the-mill prequel where you have to have this backstory, but it's interesting that they added this backstory. Hold on one second, please. Okay, so it's interesting they have this backstory because it takes place in Native American times, back when the indigenous folk basically ruled the land, and it's very interesting how everything was well crafted with that, and also shows that the predators weren't always high tech; they had a primitive side to them also. So that instead of, even though he had like the laser light thing going on, he still kind of adapted to the fighting style of the indigenous people as well as other human beings that were they had back in those times. So Prey is a definitely good one. If you are a fan of the Predator series, I highly recommend Prey. Is definitely in my lexicon of the Predator movies because it's Predator, Predator 2, Predators with Adrian Brody and Lawrence Fishburne, and Prey. I don't count the AVP movies, sorry. And I definitely don't count that last Predator movie that came out in 2018. I don't even want to think about that one. It was that bad to me. But those are the movies I count as far as the Predator franchise goes. To me, that is the Predator franchise. So based off how everything is playing out, everybody is who loved Prey, even some of the original stars of Predator who love Prey. We're hoping to see something else, to see, how predators came to Earth, before modern times. Some people said they want a version where the predator pop up in samurai times, or even back in the days of Africa or whatever. They want to see how these predators adapted to the different cultural fighting styles and things like that. So that's something to definitely check out. And it was definitely worth your while if you love the Predator franchise. So I'd highly recommend that as well. Let's see what's some more spooky season stuff. Oh, a couple gems dropped on Shudder. If you do want to check out some things, if you are a fan of like horror movie countdowns, I highly recommend the 101 scariest moments in horror movie history. Now, this is a weekly show that they've shown for a short period of time up until Halloween, and this basically shows like 101 moments of the scariest movies ever made, and the moments in those movies that just made those movies stand out. So you pretty much got everything and anything in there. And that's something I highly recommend if you do have Shutter. I believe this week tonight or tomorrow is the last episode. So by all means, if you got Shutter, knock yourself out for a day. The episodes are like 45 minutes a piece. Go ahead and knock yourself out. Have at it. It's a great watch, especially if you're a beloved horror movie fan. I highly recommend that one. A couple other things on the movie side. Yes. Speaking of the show. So there's a movie that I watched earlier this summer that is great for the spooky season. It's called The Sadness. Now, when I was trying to tell people about this, I was originally calling it The Saddening. So I apologize about that in advance, but it's called The Sadness. Basically, in a nutshell, this is a movie that makes 28 days and later, which I mentioned earlier. It makes 28 days later, and with the Crazies and Train to Busan, pretty much all look like PG-13 fanfare. That's how wild this movie is. This movie takes place in Taiwan. It was made in Taiwan. And yeah, it's graphic, it's intense, it's off the walls, and it's pretty bloody. There's something happens in here that involves multiple infected people. I'm not gonna say too much, but it's kind of like a WTF moment, and you won't believe it when you see it. I'll just say that much. But yeah, this movie is off the wall insane. So it's called Sadness, made from Taiwan. It's currently featured on Shudder. By all means, check that out. And yeah, again, some of the things that happen in this, you're gonna be like, whoa, like yeah. Another one that popped up recently that I checked out, matter of fact, a couple of days ago. If you're a fan of the VHS anthology movie series, their latest attempt at it is VHS 99. So basically, in a nutshell, with this this part of the series, you know how there was always these little theories and thoughts about what could happen when the year 2000 hits. So this is basically a play off of that, certain little scenarios of what could happen, what would happen. And it's a lot of crazy stuff that goes on in here. There's one segment that's kind of like a dark, twisted, gory callback to like little shows like Double Dare and Funhouse, and I think it was one of those shows, Legend of the Gold Temple, something like that. The little Nickelodeon shows that used to come on back in the day. So there's basically a horror version of that in one segment. You got another segment where you got a bunch of kids, let's just say, when you become a bunch of peeping toms and you want to go viral, and yeah, things go wrong after that. I'll just say that much. And what's funny about that one too, it kind of reminds you of how prehistoric online capabilities were at that time, because America Online and things of that nature. Yeah, if y'all remember them heydays, it plays off that too. It's really crazy. And then there's this one big segment where there's a great big what if, almost like an apocalypse setting. It's real wild and crazy, and yeah, it's really tripped out. So if you enjoyed the VHS series thus far, you'll probably like this one. And surprisingly, if you're a music fan, artist Flying Lotus directs one of the segments, And I believe it's the apocalyptic one, I should say. So that one was just wild to check out. But anyhow, those are some of my spooky season suggestions. And of course, if you always want to go through some throwbacks, some of my favorite throwbacks I like to suggest The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing. You can't go wrong with that. What else we got? Of course, Nightmare on Elm Street, all-time classic. Uh, guess some of the Friday the 13th, if you're cool with that. What the hell else I can think of? Well, if you're a hardhead, you know what classes to go to and check out, for spooky season. But those were some of the latest ones or newer ones that, I want to suggest that I saw recently. So by all means, check those out once again. Werewolf by Night on Disney Plus. You got Hulu with Hellraiser. You also got with Shudder, the 101 scariest horror movie moments of all time. Also, VHS 99 and The Sadness. So those are my suggestions on that. But anyhow, thank you for your time and energy. I just want to, pop up, say what's up. Apologize for the delay on doing stuff or whatever. Like I said, had to take care of real life stuff. But anyhow, I will pop back up sooner than that. I'm going to be doing like I said, I'm going to do a Black Adam review. Myself, Corey Green, a couple others. We can scrounge up. We're going to chop it up on the panel discussion side with Black Adam. And oh, yes. One more thing. So, as of last week, I am here to announce that I'm a part of a very cool, very hip, very informative group called Fly Nerd Group from Chicago. And, this consists of a couple of good friends I've known for a very long time, as well as a couple of new ones I just recently came across past year. Very cool brothers, what have you. We are going to bring some much more movie-ish, and not only myself, but them as well, Fly Nerd Group. They're going to bring a whole lot of movie-ish for you, as well as stuff involving video games, hip-hop music, sports. We're going to kind of go all over the place. But definitely alongside them, I'm going to be bringing much more movie-ish to you. So definitely shout out to the homies, Coachy Soulstar, Ambi Warhol, Mr. Kaz G, and of course the First Lady of Fly Nerd, Miss Moxie. Much love to you all. Thank you for having me a part of the crew, as well as Corey Green, my occasional co-host. So we're going to bring all the flavor to you through them, and we're going to have a whole lot of fun with that. So if I don't do as much on here on my own, I'm definitely going to be bringing stuff to you through them. So definitely check out Fly Nerd Group, and we're going to make it happen from there. But other than that, I will be chatting up with you all soon. Like I said, we're going to bring that Black Adam coming soon. Oh, speaking of Fly Nerd, if you are in the Chicagoland area, by all means, this coming Sunday at the Haymarket Brewery, that's 737 West Randolph Street in Chicago, near downtown. We're going to have the Fly Nerd cosplay Halloween costume party. We're going to have a live podcast. We're going to have a deep dive, spoiler-filled review of Halloween Ends. And by all means, if you want to hear what I got to say, what some of the Fly Nerds got to say about that, by all means, come to this party. It's going to be a blast. Not only that, going to have some cool house music. Going to have costume contest. Going to have surprises. Just come through for a great old time. That's all I can say on that. So by all means, let's do what it do. If you ain't got nothing to do this Sunday afternoon, if you ain't too caring about football like that, by all means, come out, celebrate. Let's have a good time. Let's have a good, fun, safe time, I should say. Let's keep all the drama and the BS where it's at. But there's that. So other than that, I thank you for your time and energy. Much love to anybody and everybody who has checked me out, supported me through this time. And I hope you sincerely, continue to support me, especially with those of Fly Nerd Group. And until then, I will talk to you later. Two finger salute. And I will see you when I see you. And you hear from me when you hear from me. All right.